Hi everyone, my name is Jason Hodge at Medical Fitness Pros here in Katy, Texas. We tend to get a lot of attention from personal trainers around the United States asking about insurance coverage. Not just personal trainers and fitness studios, but I guess also customers and clients and everything else as well. And um, you know, I think there's a big reason for insurance reimbursement for personal training. And we know that it helps as far as dropping blood pressure and losing weight helps with the joints, and there's a benefit to exercise as far as improving the health and dropping the amount of insurance costs someone would need in the future. So we know there's benefit to it, and as personal trainers, we tend to think that that's really all that's necessary is that we have a something that's beneficial, insurance pays for it, person gets better, everything's all great. But as an insurance company, it doesn't quite work that way. Uh, and it makes sense if you think about it. So, for instance, if you went to the doctor and the doctor said, "Hey, look, you should take this medication. It's going to help with your uh, strep throat. It's $500 a month, and you take it until you get better." Well, how long is it going to take for you to get better? Well, we don't know. It could take a month. It could take 6 months. It could take a year. But I'm just gonna let you keep taking it. Well, I mean, as an insurance carrier, they're not gonna be exactly excited about paying for that because it's an open-ended um, length of time. I mean, there's no real true outcomes. There's no certainty of how long the insurance carrier would have to keep paying for it. So they're going to be a little hesitant about that. And we kind of do that with fitness. We have this idea that someone comes in with diabetes, morbidly obese, knee pain, and maybe some back pain, and they need to get healthier. Well, how long does that take? What type of outcomes are going to happen? We don't know. We just know you should cover personal trainer, cover part of it. Um, for a business perspective, it just doesn't make sense from an insurance company perspective. And I know we hate to think of it as a business, but it is. And I guess in the same way with our business, if someone said, "Hey, look, we want you to pay for this marketing," it may or may not work. I know that actually does happen a lot of times, but we want to see outcomes. We want to see something happen as a result of it. It's as our job is to produce outcomes. So you got to realize first off that you got to look at how insurance covers things a little differently, and realize that you're pairing up with them to create an outcome for a client that's beneficial for them. So um, I'll tell you my story briefly on dealing with insurance and how the mistakes I made, but I want to tell you how you can also get to the point where you get insurance coverage as well. So just hang tight for a little bit, and I'll get into that with you. Um, so we started dealing with insurance probably 6, 7 years ago. And I thought it was a great idea. Have insurance coverage, have it so that clients that couldn't afford personal trainer would get coverage. Um, However, we found that we didn't do things the right way at the beginning. We would call and get pre-approval of some type, think they had insurance coverage, go through personal train somebody for a month, go to submit their insurance claim, get denied, and basically lose out on a lot of money, to the tune of about $40,000 to $50,000 over the years, trying to figure this out. So I'm telling you this from experience about the hard part. We didn't learn this the easy way. Someone didn't just tell us how to do it. We really literally had to go through and figure things out and lose money in the process. I don't want you to go through that. So that's why I want to kind of explain a little more about how we did it in this video. Um, One thing I would tell you is be careful about how you approach this. There's a tendency to want to take shortcuts on this and just get insurance coverage as soon as possible. It's a long road. Um, if I knew how long a road it was, I don't know if I'd do it now. If I had to redo it again, but I have gone through that road. Um, but you got to realize that when you do things incorrectly, you do it the wrong way, you try to take shortcuts, that it impacts not just you, but every other business that is trying to do it the right way. So we're not licensed professionals as personal trainers. It's just not a licensure type thing. And I'm not really advocating for that either. But it's important that we police ourselves and we do things the right way. Because if we're all in the same business, same industry, and you're doing, 10 of you are doing it the right way, and I come along and try to take a shortcut and do it the wrong way, I haven't really benefited you at all. I've hurt everyone else in the industry and may have just got you cut off from insurance carriers. So please, if you're going to do this, go about the right way. So that's why I want to go through this video and explain how it all works out. So the things that have to be done correctly in order to get insurance coverage. Number one, you got to be communicating with physicians and getting written prescriptions and progress reports with the doctor, communicating with the doctor, calling and talking to the doctor, letting them know what's going on, and making sure you're on the same page with the physician, that there is some accountability from the medical community that knows what you're doing and knows it's the right thing for their patient, your client, and it's done in a way that is mutually beneficial for everyone involved. You have to get pre-approval from the insurance carrier beforehand. And then you can file insurance at that point. There's little things like MPI numbers and knowing which carriers are going to cover you in an aspect that does take time, depending on where you live. I don't know what state you're in and how it works. I know we have about 3 insurance carriers that we work with pretty consistently as an out-of-network provider, not in-network, but as an out-of-network provider. So, that took a while to develop as far as relationships go. So if I were to back up and look at how I did this and give you an approach to kind of a blueprint, I guess, to achieve this. Number one, I'd start with the education. You need to know what kind of outcomes to expect. If someone comes in with a total knee replacement and they've been discharged from physical therapy, I know my outcome is I want to increase range of motion, maybe another 5 degrees. I want to see strengthening of the quads, strengthening the glutes. I want to get to where they function better, they move better, they are achieving this particular outcome. They're getting to where they can go to a gym and work out on their own, or they're getting to where they can walk 3 miles without any kind of discomfort or pain. I need to actually know what I'm trying to achieve and how long it's going to take for me to get there. So your education has to be to where you understand protocols and know exactly what to do for all these different medical conditions you're going to work with. If it's diabetes, what should their blood sugar be before and after the workout? What should their blood pressure be before and after the workout? You've got to know inside and out what these medical conditions are. Because if you went to a doctor, you'd expect them to know what's going on with you, what's good, what's bad, and be able to understand how to deal with that condition properly. So it's the same thing when you're doing personal training. You can't just be good at taking them through a really great workout where they feel good. You've got to understand that medical condition, what the protocols are, what you can and what you cannot do, what kind of progress you should expect, and what the outcomes should be. And when you have all that, that's going to be something that the insurance carrier is going to be interested in covering. It's beneficial for the client. It's beneficial for the insurance coverage. It's beneficial for you. So you got to do this the right way. So we went through the postrehab.com medical exercise specialist certification. My entire staff goes through it. Every single person we bring on, first thing they do is sign up for the certification. Part of the process, they have to know what they're doing with the protocols, have to know all the different medical conditions and how to work it out. So that's the best certification I can recommend. In that course, Dr. Michael Jones, he goes through and explains how to write physician reports and progress reports and what types of information they're looking for. It's a long certification, but it's a lot of information to learn. So it's the first place I would start. From then, I would get MPI numbers set up, start talking to insurance companies, explain to them you're not a licensed professional. Every time we were submitting a claim for insurance, we would put they were not licensed professionals for every single time, reminding them, telling them, making sure they didn't misunderstand that we are not licensed physical therapists. We don't want there to be any confusion. What we do is different from physical therapy. We don't want to take away from that. And so if insurance doesn't cover what we do, that's fine. But we just want to be upfront and let them know before they pay us. And then we show outcomes. We show the results. We show what happens long term with a client so that they see that it's worth it. So, that's kind of my beginning aspect of how I would approach it and what I would look for if I was doing this all over again. If you have questions after this, let me know. I'd be glad to answer any that I have. But it's a long process. It takes time. I beg you to do it the right way for not just my sake, but for your sake and everyone else that gets into this industry. But it can be helpful. I'd say overall, about 10 to 20% of our business actually has insurance coverage. So a large percent does not, even though we're exclusively a medical fitness facility, medical exercise facility. Um, I would say that most people do pay out of pocket, and insurance coverage is getting worse, so it doesn't work as well as it used to, and so that hurts things a lot as well. Um, Beyond that, the last thing I would say is be careful going in this industry, this mindset. Someone can think you take insurance, and the moment they find out insurance doesn't cover it, you may very well lose that client. It's very odd, but there's something psychologically about it that when they think insurance coverage is it, um, that's the only solution for them. When they realize they got to pay cash with a different facility, they go in with the mindset of paying cash. So if something happens in that breakdown where if insurance doesn't cover it, sometimes they'll walk away and oddly enough go someplace else and pay cash. Seen it a couple times. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does happen sometimes. So uh, just proceed with caution, do it the right way, take the time to get the educational foundation, start building up the understanding of how to do the progress reports and speaking with physicians, and then start going down the road and take it slow. Just work with one person at a time until you really get a handle on how to get coverage. So I hope that helps you out. That's really everything we have in a nutshell. And I wish you luck. You're welcome to ask me questions, but I wish you luck in your business, and I hope you're very successful. Thanks a lot.